All right, we're joined now by a guy who I want to say is a favorite of this podcast. A guy who is a favorite by especially one Jack Gentry.
That's right.
My co-host is absolutely obsessed with this guy. Might be his favorite quarterback in Tennessee Titans history. And I'm not even, that's not even hyperbole. Like for the amount that Jack loves, and I hope I'm not embarrassing Jack right now.
No way.
Jack has to awkwardly adjust his pants every time this man's name is brought up in conversation. He is number 7 in your playbooks, but number 1 in this podcast hearts. He is Zach freaking Mettenberger. And I'm pretty sure I got that middle name right. Freaking is the middle name.
Yeah. That's on the birth certificate. And Jack's not embarrassed, I'm pretty embarrassed for him, man.
Yeah, he kind of put me on blast there, didn't he?
You could have picked a much better player. I mean, of all things.
Look,
gosh, for me, that for me.
So Zach, I got to give you like backstory. So nowadays in the NFL, quarterbacks can, have all this personality, the stuff that you were doing back then and getting in trouble for it. Versus we have now guys like Baker Mayfield, Gardner Minshew with the mustache. I mean, you threw in the selfies, the hair, everything. Why did you get crushed like you did back then when you were doing it? And guys like Gardner Minshew are getting Bud Light sponsors.
Dude, finally somebody recognizes it.
Before his time.
Yeah. But seriously, I told my mom this weekend, I was like, you just had me 5 years too early.
That's what I'm saying. In today's NFL, you're loved. You're a fan favorite. But back then, you're getting crushed for doing all these things. It's right. It didn't make sense to me then.
I mean, I think just the player empowerment movement, all the different movements just across society, people in power positions that, they're becoming looser with their standards, right? For a long time in the NFL, a quarterback, he had to look a certain way and he had to be good. But the look a certain way was more important for a lot of owners and things like that, even as recent as up to a few years ago. And I definitely think, I was in that last little phase of that era, rocking the headband and long hair and mustache for my first interview.
Right.
Obviously having my little tidbit with JJ Watt, which I thought was hilarious, but everyone thought I was a dickhead, just things like that. I really felt misunderstood and all those things. Cause again, as people know, I work hard, but I like to have fun, it's not worth doing if I can't have fun. And I just have a different interpretation of fun sometimes. And definitely wish I was playing in 2021 NFL opposed to 2014 NFL.
Do you look back on any of those things? And I don't know, like you don't seem like a guy who regrets being unapologetically himself in these moments where, it's your personality coming through. But do you regret any of the things that went down in Tennessee with not what happened on the field, but what happened, with press conferences and off the field and all that stuff?
Not really. I always had a clean conscience, I guess, because again, it's what your parents teach you, right? All of our parents teach you, be yourself, try to love yourself, all these things. But then a lot of guys in the spotlight, athletes, they really can't be their true selves because they're afraid of criticism and things like that. And even myself, man, like I was so I wasn't even my true self, and I was still way out there compared to a bunch of guys. So there's a lot of those fear and ramifications that athletes used to deal with or, look over their shoulder about, it's less of that feel now in sports. And I think that's the way it should have always been. I mean, my problem was I idolized Ken Stabler and Joe Namath opposed to Peyton Manning, that was my issue. So, maybe I wasn't ready for the NFL.
How close were we to getting you in a mink coat on the sidelines? Is that
hey, if I've, first big contract for sure, sign $50 million, you guys pay me, right. You guys pay me $40 million a year. Like some of these guys, I can do what I want. And if I'm hurt this game, coach, wearing a mink coat, I'll buy your wife one too. So
right.
It'll be good.
Would you say we're safe in saying that Zach Mettenberger walked so Gardner Minshew could run?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's all right. Look, it's all right. Be confident in yourself. Be confident.
Yeah, I'm confident myself, but
Okay.
like, at the end of the day, I'm just glad, there's guys that are able to go out there and wear short shorts and mullets and not get crucified for it.
Yeah, right.
So if I had to be that guy that got shit on for all that stuff for these guys, I mean, cool. I'm still going to be forgotten in the history books of football, but at least you guys remember me for something.
We won't forget you, Zach.
Jack will never like it's almost absurd how Jack will swerve out of his lane just to bring you up.
I know what happens is I'm a Zach Mettenberger defender, and that's where I'm going with my next thing. So obviously, as a starter in the NFL with the Titans, it was a rocky road. But when I look back at some of these games, I mean, you had a game where you threw for 345 or a couple touchdowns. It's not like you played bad in all of these games. The defense in all the games you started gave up an average of 29.9 points. I did this math just before we got you on. I mean, how frustrating is that to be playing quarterback, knowing that every time you're on the sideline, the other offense is busy scoring? Because that's something Tannehill's even dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, it's not fun. I'll tell you that. It was definitely there for a while at Tennessee. I mean, everyone reminds me that I went 0-10 as a starter, and I'm like, dude, we won 4 games in 2.5 years. Like, nobody won there. Like we signed, 3 linemen on Monday, and they're starting against the Texans' #1 defense on Sunday. And I'm a rookie 6th-round pick. It's not a one-man job. I'm not Kyler and Mahomes out there. I need all 10 of those guys. I need everything they got to help my slow ass, execute at a high level. So it was tough picking out there, but it's definitely tough playing football, when you're down 14 the whole time, and that's kind of how we were there for those 2 years I was there.
So are wins a quarterback stat? Would you say that's fair to judge a quarterback by his win-loss record as a starter?
It's kind of, because you look at fourth quarter comebacks, things like that, for sure. Like, that's quarterback driven. But when it comes to, wins, look, Joe Namath threw more picks than he threw touchdowns, I'm pretty sure, and he's a Hall of Famer. He had a lot of games where he threw 4 picks, 1 touchdown. They won, 13-10. He got a win in his stat book, right? But he played like crap. So, it's kind of goes both ways. Yeah. It's definitely a lot better to have the W associated with your name than the L. So it's always a good stat to keep.
All right. So I'd be remiss if I did not bring up arguably the most famous selfie in Titans history. Zach. So before the game, I believe it's the Texans game. You're in the locker room, just going, probably in between pregame warmups and everything, right before taking the field. Bust out the phone, take a little photo of yourself. You're looking cute that day. Might delete later. You never know. You post it, and then first of all, what did you get any backlash from like coaching staff after you sent that out?
I roll with this after this whole thing because like ESPN and JJ Watt just kind of took off with it and wanted to make me look bad.
Right.
But look, I had a private Snapchat. All right. I just did my interview where, the headband mustache interview where I look like McConaughey looking up.
Yes, which was awesome. Yes.
Wyatt got the picture, the infamous picture, Jim. But right after that, I just took a selfie and I sent it out to my friends because they just got announced I was starting quarterback. So as a joke, I sent, I'm an NFL starting quarterback, get some. And I made a goofy face, sent it to my friends. Well, one of my friends' little brother got that. He posted it to the internet. So now I post it to the internet. I'm a schmuck. And I don't have social media to go out to defend myself. And I'm not one of those guys to do that anyways.
Right.
I just made, lemonade out of lemons and kind of played the villain role and tried to have fun with it, I guess. It definitely, I mean, seriously, dude, that was Wednesday when I took that selfie, and somehow, it got blown up, and JJ had to tell me I had to worry about football more than taking a selfie. And
first of all, there's no bigger and look, Zach, we're Team Met here all the way, especially when it goes against JJ Watt. There's no bigger doucher in the NFL than JJ Watt, especially when it comes to, like I didn't like JJ Watt's whole holier than thou approach that on that Sunday. But also then later on when we learned that he knows all of the lyrics to that Fort Minor song on Hard Knocks later on, and that was when it was like, okay, this dude has no right talking down to anyone else in the NFL. All right, the dude is the only man that you'll see flipping tires at 11:30 at night when everyone else is at home on a football field. Total doucher, total holier than thou. And so look, I think you're not alone, or we're behind you in that fight against JJ Watt, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's no fight against JJ
Watt.
No.
There's a fight against JJ Watt. And
maybe for you.
Yeah.
You can start that non-existent fight for me. All right.
No, 1,000%.
You can die on that shield in the name of Zach Mettenberger. And people are going to be like, he died for nothing.
Jack and I grabbed our shields and our pitchforks, and we are marching up that hill to JJ Watt's probably mansion, because he's made a lot of money in his career. Yeah. But we've got your back. Don't you worry about that, Zach. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Hey, don't you
worry.
If
anything, I hope JJ's got a nice framed, blown up picture in his man cave of him taking the selfie over my dead body.
What a douchebag.
Do you think he does? I could see him definitely.
Dude, I would have that picture.
Yeah.
I mean,
Zach, it was a good.
I'd be honored if he had that picture. Yeah. If I made his man cave, I'd be honored.
I'll be honest, Zach. This is news to me. I did not know that this was a Wednesday photo that just circulated, the day of, all because you were sabotaged online by a friend's little brother.
Yeah.
Okay. He's right up there with JJ Watt for us on our hit list. That
I got rid of Snapchat after that. It was me and social media is not a great thing anyway, so it's probably all for the best.
All right, Zach. I don't know how this is gonna land, so I'm just gonna ask it.
Go for it.
Have you been back to Losers?
Yeah. I mean, I love Losers.
Hell yeah.
Roll Tide.
So explain to me what happened there. I mean, it's a very famous altercation, and Bama fans are Bama fans. You're an LSU guy. What went down?
Also, and let it be known, Zach, not the only Titan to ever get in an altercation at Losers.
Nope.
Oh, that's nice.
It's almost like a rite of passage for Tennessee Titans players to get in.
Probably some dirt bag company I'm associated with that on there, but no, man, it was just so there's a guy in the band at Losers that was LSU grad. He's a few years older. So anytime I'd walk in the bar, I'd just give him the deuces, and he'd start playing Call in Baton Rouge. I mean, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, the Alabama fan didn't like it. He's going through the bar, Roll Tide this, Roll Tide that.
Oh,
he sees me. He stops dead in his tracks. We make eye contact. He goes, "Roll Tide, motherfucker!" 6 inches from my face.
Sure.
And I just look at the guy with a smile. I'm like, "All right, buddy, good luck with that." And he turned around. I went and talked to, turned my head, talked to the person. And apparently he did a little 360 move, the little turn around. I'm coming back, and he hit me. Before I could get up, he was out. He had taken off. But apparently Lawan came over and was like, "Hey, what happened?" I'm like, "Hey, this guy just sucker punched me." Well, Lawan goes out there and is like, "Hey, all of his buddies are like, no, don't, we're leaving. He's like, "Oh, I know. I just want to ask him a question." They're like, "Oh, okay. I mean, of course, yeah, we're going to let 6'8", 320-pound Taylor just go ask the guy a question." Well, the guy, he walks up and he goes, "Hey." Guy looks up from his phone and he popped him right in the mouth, pulled him up like a lawn chair, and just goes, "Don't ever touch my friend." And then came back in and finished the song that he was just singing with the band.
That's awesome.
Definitely a fun night. I mean, it gets even better. So the next day we got called into the office. the facility. We had to meet with the security, the head coach, and the general manager about this. So the dude had come and he had called Jim Arts and the Titans, and he was going to try and sue Taylor over this. Well, it circulated, and essentially they were like, look, loser's going to sue you. Zach's going to sue you. It's not going to be good. And the guy just essentially clicked, and that was it. So for the best, that worked out, because I think Lawan had pending charges up in Michigan at the same time.
Okay. So the good guys won.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we're the good guys, but our team won that night.
That's the 5th win in the 2 years that you were there, that night of losers. That I had to ask it. I didn't know that's a really good story though. And hey, speaking of LSU, Coach O's gone. What's going on?
Don't know.
2 years out, 2 years after a national title, or do you think that's a good move?
Yeah. How do you feel?
Look, I just, I read what everyone else reads. I try to not, I'm not that alumni. I'm not hitting up, the people I know there. It's like, oh, give me all the dirt. Like I'm not that guy. But I think we can all read between the lines and kind of see that, somewhere Coach O just kind of got lost.
Yeah.
Don't know what, why, how, but something's just it's not the same there anymore, right? The culture seems a little wonky right now. But I mean, then there's all the Darius Guy stuff and all the Title IX implications, all that other stuff. There's just so much going against him right now. But I think the ultimate deal is somewhere he just kind of lost his guiding light and what got him into coaching football. So, I'm sure we'll see him pop up.
Oh, he'll be back
somewhere across the country. I mean, guy just won a national title. Somebody's going to want to try and get that guy who can't speak English, try to get that magic there.
Right. Oh yeah. There's nothing like a head coach who gives a rally speech that you have no idea.
And I mean, and he's not the first head coach to enjoy chasing tail, so
Ryan Kiffin's down in Oxford. I went to Ole Miss.
I think that's
Joey Freshwater.
Guys, I think that's the biggest thing though. Like when you embrace that you are a dirtbag, that you do dirtbag things like Coach Kiffin. I'm not saying he's a dirtbag, but like he embraces, guys, I go around and I frolic around. Okay. So what?
Yeah.
Coach O kind of being closeted about it. When when people are open about it, people are less likely to crucify you. I feel like,
Well, you got to own it.
Just own it, own it. And
I saw where Coach O is getting in trouble for, inviting his girlfriend's plural sons like to practice and letting them like run through reps at practice. This is all reportedly,
and
allegedly.
Dude, if that's like the case, that's bad. That's bad.
Well, counterpoint. It's next level recruiting. He's getting these kids ready to eventually make their decision at LSU later on down the road.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Advanced recruiting. Okay.
Right. People aren't looking at that. Like he's working harder. Like I don't see Saban doing that. I don't see Saban inviting 6-year-olds to practice.
Have you guys seen Kingpin?
Yeah.
Okay. The little commercial, Bill Murray, and he's sponsoring all these kids and he's getting in touch with their mothers and they're playing football and he gets under center and he goes, Tennessee, Kentucky. Do you think Coach O is starting one of those? He's like sponsoring kids and that's where all these women are coming from. That's how the kids are getting out onto the football field. What if it's something like that, then it's, then it's all honest. Yeah. It's all good.
Right. Yeah. I'm just thinking like, he's like Coach O, the only man like in college football who no one on earth can understand, is somehow like 3 steps ahead of everyone when it comes to the recruiting game. I might be the only one, but I have mad respect for him. But Zach, I got a question for you. Speaking on LSU, would you say you're the greatest transfer quarterback to LSU in the history of the program?
What a specific question was that? 2 guys, one won the Heisman. It answered itself.
Are you sure? So,
you had a good time there.
50-50 shot, really. Honestly, if you think about it.
I think Joe edges me Just a little bit.
Slightly, okay.
You know, he had more touchdowns in like 4 games his senior year than I had in 2 years combined. So
yeah, tomato, honestly.
Yeah. I think I had more fun though.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think so
Hell
too.
yeah.
Hey,
right. I would have loved to have seen Zach Mettenberger with a stogie in his mouth
at Fred's. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
See, but if I would have done it in 2012, they would have been like, this guy.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't take it serious.
He would have said, "Oh, look at him.
He thinks he's Don Corleone. Who is this guy?" You know, like
what's funny about it is, you know, you after you finished up in the NFL, you went to spring league AAF, but in Memphis, you know, you won the starting job, you won a game, Singletary promoted you to the starter. You go down, they bring in Manziel. You and Manziel, to me, in the same quarterback room, seems like just the most fun of all time. What was it like being teammates with Manziel?
I mean, it was fine, you know. I am a big goofball, but when it gets into like, hey, we're in the facility,
football mode.
like, it's football. And he's a really good guy, but just in the facility, we just had 2 different mindsets, and that's where we was at football all the time, and it's competitive nature, and we didn't really know each other as much as we'd want, you know. So like we were friendly, but absolutely, I would love to go party with Johnny. A guy looks like he's a hell of a time out and about. So, but we never got to do anything like that. Unfortunately. So, and it was Memphis. Like, where are we gonna go in Memphis?
Yeah, there's not too many options. Maybe a tin roof or Rayford's or something. Hey, but that leads me to my next question. So, you're coaching at Ryan now. You're on the coaching staff at Father Ryan. Does that mean are you still looking to play quarterback somewhere if an opportunity arises, maybe in a different league, spring league, whatever it may be? Or are you hanging them up? Have you officially announced anything?
Ooh. I mean, if someone wants to pay me enough, I can always throw a football 80 yards for anyone. So
you'll never retire.
Nah, I'll be 62 years old. Somebody wants to pay me some money, I'll go out there and play.
I love football.
That's a smart way to go.
That's dedication to the game, you know.
You know, I mean, you just if there's an opportunity, of course, I'm going to try and play. You know, I'm still young enough in my mind. You know, I can, you know, my arm does what my mind wants it to do, which is the most important thing playing quarterback. But you know, I think that ship has sailed. No one's looking for a oak tree dinosaur slow guy anymore in football. So I'll just slowly and passively phase out to the next side, and that is coaching. And that has started at the high school level here in Nashville, and hopefully it leads to you know, hopefully college and NFL down the line.
Is that your goal? Ultimately at the end of the line, NFL head coach?
I mean, I think everybody gets into coaching has a picture of where they want to be. You know, and I think the other thing is after you're in it, you can see that you're capable of doing it as well. So I think, you know, obviously I have a lot to learn, but, you know, if I have the opportunity to go down that path and be a big time head coach somewhere, that would, you know, that'd be awesome.
Zach, I first of all, thank you so much for joining us. You're awesome. You're the man. And I respect the hell out of you for coming on to a podcast and just doing this. Even though Titans podcast means the world. And now I want to come clean. All right. That there have been in my past, there have been some things that I've said about you that I would now like to apologize for.
Okay.
Just because I respect you.
I keep him in line as much as I can, Matt.
And look, Jack, every time you come up, like I get mad at Jack and then he gets mad at me in return for that. But August 9th of 2014, I tweeted I tweeted that the goal in this first hashtag Titans preseason game is to make it through the whole game without letting Zach Mettenberger get punched in the face.
That's a low blow.
It was. I agree. As low.
That first preseason game, I led game-winning drive though. So against Green Bay in the rain.
And look, if Old Takes Exposed was around back then, I would have gotten Old Takes Exposed for that. That would have been a freezing cold take. So I want to apologize for that. I also, and this one's even worse. I want
some good stuff.
All right. I apologize for this one. All right. July 16th of 2020.
Ooh, that was my birthday last year.
Oh, Austin, you better.
Oh, wow. This is real bad now. This is, oh, man, am I going to feel like a douche?
Let's go.
Even a bigger doucher than JJ Watt. We got your back, Zach.
He's coming for you.
Not at this old age. All right. I said, I guess I said on this podcast that we were talking about Ken Wisenhunt, who I believe you know fairly well.
I do.
I said no, and again, I'm sorry for this, Zach, but since you
Band-Aid off, Austin.
Took the time to come onto this podcast, I figured it'd only be right if I also come clean and
cleanse yourself. Look, this is a Catholic church.
Right.
Absolve your sins. Let's go.
Zach is the priest.
I'm rubbing my rosary beads as we speak. Zach, I said no father wants his daughter to date a loser, but apparently Ken Wisenhunt is the exception. All right, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Zach. I did not. I take it back.
That's a good joke because I mean, there's nothing but facts in that statement. So
look, I wholeheartedly disagree.
If I would have gone 1-10, I'm not technically a loser, but I went 0-10. So
that's
true. I mean, that is
true.
Pretty factual based statement.
Yeah,
so.
but people forget that you led that game-winning drive on the first preseason game.
Yeah. If only it counted.
I mean, it does count technically. It just
counts right here. Counts right here. Guys.
Right? Thank you. Yes. Look, Zach.
Mean tweets about Zach Mettenberger.
Zach, I'm now sitting front row at the Met Show. I'll say it. You flipped me just for the fact that you came on this podcast and you're as cool as hell. You flipped me, and I will now forever be in your corner.
Hey, thanks, man. I had a lot of fun. You guys are cool. If you ever need me back, let me know. I'm not very knowledgeable, but I got one or two witty lines, but hey, and if your followers want to check out
I was going to say, plug your podcast.
So it's SEC QB from Believe Network. Check it out. It's a very uninformed approach on SEC football,
which is exactly what we are for the Titans with this podcast.
And we talked SEC football, we talked quarterback play, different picks, do some dumb stuff, have great guests, but come check us out. That's SEC QB on the Believe Network.
Got it.
Hey, look right there. And there are a lot of SEC fans that listen to this podcast. A lot of Vols fans, unfortunately, but a lot of just all around the board SEC fans. So guys, go check out Mr. Zach Mettenberger and his podcast, because if he's half as funny on this podcast right now at 7:00 at night after putting his baby down to bed, just imagine what he's like on his podcast. Dude, Zach, you're the man. We appreciate you a lot, and yeah, well, obviously Jack does, because you can't see it right now.
Yeah, but Jack's my
Austin embarrassed me in front of
my secret admirer.
Zach, if you heard some knocking during the podcast, it was probably his boner hitting the underside of the desk. That's
Christ. Can we end this already?
Okay. It's okay.
Thanks for coming on, Zach. We appreciate it.
Awkwardly, get the fuck off my podcast. Thanks, guys. That's a good place to cut it. See y'all later.
Thanks, Zach. You're the man.